The NFL has to essentially alter the rules to stop some of its most dominant players. In addition to playing the game, these icons compelled the NFL to amend its regulations. Deacon Jones, who was nicknamed the Secretary of Defense, was a game-changer at the defensive end position throughout the 1960s and 1970s. The head slap, which is his signature move, was known for being both violent and effective. Jones was able to get a momentary advantage over his opponent by slapping the helmet of an offensive lineman at the snap, which resulted in his opponent becoming bewildered and enabling him a split-second advantage to rush the quarterback. This maneuver was not merely a ruse, it was a weapon. After facing Jones, linemen frequently reported that they felt dizzy, experienced brief vision loss, and heard ringing in their ears. The National Football League, NFL, prohibited the head slap in 1977, having deemed it too risky for the sport's famously aggressive style of play. The regulation modification safeguarded linemen and established a precedent for giving precedence to the safety of players. The league was obliged to acknowledge that certain methods were simply too dangerous to permit due to the dominance of Jones. Mel Blount. As a cornerstone of the Pittsburgh Steelers' infamous steel curtain defense, Mel Blount exemplified physical domination at the cornerback position. Blount was not only quick but also scary due to his height of 6 feet 3 inches and weight of over 200 pounds. He was exceptionally adept at jamming up receivers immediately off the line, forcing them with such force that they were unable to even begin their routes. The offense became upset since the quarterbacks frequently did not have any open targets to throw to because of Blount's stifling style of play. In 1978, the National Football League made a groundbreaking adjustment that limited the distance that defenders were permitted to make contact with receivers to 5 yards after the play. This rule is now commonly referred to as the Mel Blount Rule. The impact was enormous. Passing offenses became far more prevalent, which helped to create the contemporary National Football League, where it is typical for quarterbacks to throw for 4,000 to 5,000 yards in a single season. Blount did not just manage to shut down receivers, he also completely transformed the entire offensive philosophy of the game. Jerry Rice. Most people agree that Jerry Rice is the best wide receiver of all time. He was practically unbeatable due to his meticulous route running, unparalleled work ethic, and sticky hands. In a desperate attempt to slow him down, defenses frequently grabbed, pulled, and unlawfully held him. In the 1990s, the NFL placed a strong emphasis on tougher regulation of defensive holding, and illegal contact penalties increased due to Rice's dominance on the field. Officials started observing defenders' treatment of receivers more closely, particularly downfield. In addition to Rice, a whole generation of receivers who came after him profited from these adjustments. Rice's influence aided the emergence of high-octane passing offenses. Without those changes, defenders' continued manhandling of wideouts might have hampered the offensive development of the game. Rice's exceptional performance forced the NFL to provide a level playing field. Jim Brown. During his career in the late 1950s and early 1960s, Jim Brown was a formidable force. Brown made defenders appear powerless because he was bigger, faster, and stronger than nearly everyone else on the field. Defenses frequently used gang tackling to stop him, keeping him up while other players, occasionally after the whistle, administered more strikes. This cruel treatment exposed the perils of needless roughness. To prevent runners from being penalized after the play, the NFL started implementing more precise regulations against late hits and piling on. Because of Brown's domination, the league had to reconsider its tackling regulations, placing a greater emphasis on player safety in a time when violence was frequently tolerated. Brown's reputation as one of the most unstoppable players endures even after several decades. The NFL's ongoing struggle to balance toughness and safety started with the changes made to regulations due to Brown's influence. Darrell Green. With a noble cause, Darrell Green was dubbed the fastest man in the NFL. Green played cornerback for the Washington Redskins, where he excelled well into his 40s by fusing exceptional speed and durability. Because of his incredible closing speed, receivers found it difficult to get out of his coverage, and quarterbacks dreaded throwing close to him. Although there isn't a single Darrell Green rule, His impact led to more stringent guidelines for defensive backs' timing and placement. The NFL aimed to prevent cornerbacks who could cover the entire field from totally neutralizing passing attacks. Green's unparalleled speed brought attention to the necessity of striking a balance so that defenses can excel without totally stifling offensive inventiveness. His career demonstrated how a single player's speed could distort a game's overall strategy. Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe reinvented the tight end position. Prior to him, tight ends were mostly blocks who also caught passes once in a while, but Sharpe was more of a wide receiver disguised as a tight end. Sharpe's route running, agility, and ability to line up anywhere on the field posed a challenge for defenses. The defensive back's small size and the linebacker's slow speed left defensive coordinators stumbling. Sharpe's distinctive style forced the league to clarify rules regarding tight end eligibility, formations, and positioning. Even though no single rule bears his name, Sharpe's influence was evident. By demonstrating that innovation at one position might change the game, he paved the way for contemporary hybrid tight ends like Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski, and Tony Gonzalez. Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was an innovator in football. He was unparalleled in his ability to read defenses before the snap. Manning would stand at the line of scrimmage, yell alterations, reposition receivers, shift linemen, and postpone the snap until the ideal play came. The NFL enforced stricter restrictions regarding pre-snap gestures and the play clock because of quarterbacks like Manning. The league aimed to allow for tactical tweaks while preventing offenses from dragging out plays indefinitely. Defenses also had to adjust to Manning's hurry-up and no-huddle offenses. He influenced today's fast-paced football style, where tempo play is common and quarterbacks have more control. Tom Brady. The Tuck Rule, one of the most contentious regulations in NFL history, has a connection to Tom Brady's career. Brady seemed to fumble in a 2002 playoff game against the Raiders, but the officials used the Tuck Rule to declare the ball incomplete. The NFL clarified quarterback passing motions and subsequently abolished the Tuck Rule completely as a result of the reaction from the play. Changes to protect quarterbacks were also influenced by Brady's long career. After Brady sustained a knee injury that ended his season in 2008, the NFL strengthened penalties for low hits on passers. Brady and others have made today's quarterbacks more protected than ever before. Brady's supremacy affected not just victories and titles, but also the regulations governing the defense of football's most crucial position. Ray Lewis. The core of the Baltimore Ravens defense was Ray Lewis. He was one of the most formidable linebackers in history because of his vicious hits and sideline-to-sideline tackling. But Lewis' play style raised questions about needless rawness and helmet-to-helmet collision. Lewis came to represent the traditional, hard-hitting style of football that was being phased out as the NFL became increasingly worried about player safety and concussions. Players like Lewis, who were not held personally responsible, encouraged the NFL to update its regulations to lower the number of violent collisions. During his career, the smash-mouth era was replaced by the league's current emphasis on safety. Rob Gronkowski. Rob Gronkowski, also known as Gronk, was almost impossible to find. He was 6'6" and almost 270 pounds, and his combination of strength, dexterity, and gentle hands made it impossible for any defense to stop him consistently. Defenders did everything, including punching him at the line, holding him, and pulling, but the majority of their methods were almost against the law. Because of players like Gronk, the NFL placed a strong emphasis on tougher enforcement of defensive holding and illegal contact, particularly against tight ends. A new age where tight ends were the center of offenses was ushered in by his domination, which also altered how teams employed and drafted the position. Gronk's impact was so significant that regulations had to adapt to give defenders a chance. These guys not only dominated the field but also changed the game itself. From Rob Gronkowski's unstoppable size to Deacon Jones' banned head slap, each demonstrated how a single athlete's style can change the rules of the most popular sport in America, forcing the NFL to intervene and adjust. The NFL is constantly evolving, and the discovery of future stars will surely lead to the implementation of new regulations. However, the rulebook itself records the history of these legends, alongside their statistics and championships.